should be live. Let's double check. Weißt du was? Ich werde nochmal das Intro anmachen. Wir sind wieder live. Warte mal ganz kurz. So. Okay, nee, wir müssen einfach nochmal starten. Okay, Take 2 says Alex, so we are live. Okay, I can see the stream here on my phone. Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Okay, so can you guys hear Wolfgang now? Please.
Hello, could you hear us now? Hello, everyone. Could everybody hear us now? Could everybody see us now?
I'm sure they can hear you. Can someone confirm? Alex, can you hear Wolfgang? Please say yes. I hear you both. Okay. So, it's working. Oh, great. Yeah, very sorry for this technical problem. We started preparing the stream early afternoon and everything was perfect, and then suddenly, and I think it's because I was using 2 monitors at the same time, and usually I only use one, and I think my computer can't handle 2 screens at the same time. So, but now I'm back on only one screen, so it should be good. Everyone says loud and clear. Great. Thank God we can continue. Okay, let's do it again. So, hi everyone, welcome to another live stream.
Fine.
With Wolfgang Baus here again. We were talking about photo editing techniques and softwares, and I think Wolfgang, you started explaining a little bit about photo editing in general. So maybe let's do it again.
Yes. Hoping that everybody could hear us now. Hoping that everybody is still patient and wait for us. Thank you very, very much for this delay. Today is not a good day. Today is Wednesday, and we had so many problems. First of all, with the card, now with the technique of live streaming. But now I think everything is solved now, and we could start. Today we would like to talk about picture editing. But picture editing is starting already before you take photos, and we prepared a picture. Lintaro, could you show the picture from the heaven with the clouds on it?
Yep, I have it here.
Okay. I have a little delay on my computer, so I need from you the okay that the picture is now available.
It's showing now.
Okay, good. As you can see, there is it's a very dark circumstances. That is a sunset situation, and what I did is to use a filter. Normally, I'm using a gray filter, and it's a filter like this. This picture you can see here is made with my K1, and this is I need such a GND filter, and in the top you can see it's gray, and the bottom side or the side it's clear, and this is very important. The camera is not able to show this big contrast which is needed to show the clouds with all the details on it, and this big one is now replaced by a small one for the GR, and I'm so happy with this. If you can see, I will show you. Sorry. So that is the difference between now the big one I'm using for my SLR camera, and now happy me and happy I must say happy easy that they produce such a nice filter. You can see there is a filter adapter, and this could be placed now in front of the lens barrel, and this is the first step of picture editing for me. With this, I'm able to balance the contrast and to show also the clouds which are much more lightened than the rest of the picture. So that's what I would like to.
Okay, why would you do that in camera with the filter or with the accessory and not in post? Because there's a good reason, right?
You're right. That is not a part of the camera, but the camera is not able to bring the full contrast from very, very bright to the darkness, and so I need a filter to balance it and to bring it to the photo. Otherwise, everybody of you knows the white heaven without any clouds on it. But if you see this through a gray filter, you are able to see the clouds. And that is the reason for me. And that couldn't be done with a post-production. This has to be done before you make the photos. That is that is the first step. And so if there is a on the monitor, you have the scale with the, help me, Nintaro, the scale with the
I don't know what you wanted to say.
It's very simple. That is this the contrast scale on the
slider for contrast.
Yeah. And you can see the contrast already on the, that is shown here. You can see it here. That is the there. There you can see the contrast.
Histogram. The histogram.
Sorry, the histogram. Yeah, sorry, I missed the correct word. You can see the histogram, and most important is to have white and black. The whole area has to be covered by the histogram, and that is the perfect situation for later post-production. So far, that is preparing before you are doing the photo. And now we could start with that, what the camera is bringing to us to prepare better photos or however.
So you mean the in-camera editing? So we could, for example, show...
Now you can start with your part where you can show what is possible editing in the camera.
So I need to be... So because I'm using my internal memory, these are not the photos I wanted to use, but maybe we can use these gloves here. So
sorry, Lintaro. I have to do another remark. Why is it necessary to do editing? We have beautiful colored pictures. Why should we use any other setup? And I think this is a question of our philosophy. We went out on the last weekend and we was on a demonstration, and we would like to prepare report photos, and report photos always have to be, I think, black and white. Street photography is always black and white, but if you would like to do landscape, as I show with the sky and heaven and so on, I think that you need colors. If you prepare wedding pictures, you need a different setting. So I think with the setup of the colors, with the setup of the camera, you can do also soft filters and so on. And with this setup, you give to every picture an idea, and you can transport your idea with such a setup. I think that is the most important thing to use such a setup.
Yes. Okay, so I just want to quickly show you guys that before, so Wolfgang was talking about getting it right in camera with the help of filters and knowing what you are going for. And then I will show you how you can also start editing in camera. So if you have your GR here, and I have this lovely photo here that I shot in a cafe in Santiago de Compostela. Shout out to Jota Barros. So this is a raw photo, and we can go into the raw development here, which I often use to edit my photos in the camera already. And now it's just color, and as you can see, I shot it using the positive film color effect. And here you can do lots of things that you can also do in Photoshop, like cropping, the general exposure you could change here. Maybe you want this to be high key, and under image control.
Samuel,
yeah.
Samuel, on my control screen, I don't have this photo. Could I get please feedback from the audience if you can see this?
It should be showing on the stream, not on Skype for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, last time we did it so that you could see it. Sorry, but today is a mess. So yeah, just check the stream. So now I have, for example, monotone black and white, which I really like. And here you can go into further settings. And you have lots of sliders here: contrast, contrast highlight or shadow, sharpness, filter effect, which means it will filter some color channels out. And you can even go more into detail here and decide how much of the red channels you want to have in the frame. So that is very useful if you want to convert your photos into black and white. And then you have clarity. And we won't go through all the things you can do here. It's just to show you what is possible. If you watch our past recent stream from 2 weeks ago, I think, we also showed this in more detail. So you can use this to edit your photos, change the white balance, for example. And then you can save it and it will create a JPEG file. So now that I did this, I now have a JPEG file that is corrected or edited to my liking. And this would be useful if you want to send your photo, for example, to your phone, but you want to start with a raw image first and then work on that. So yeah, this is just a quick way to edit photos in camera. And I think we can go over to show you some of the softwares you can use on your computer, right? And Wolfgang, is it okay if we start with Lightroom?
Yeah, okay. So to show you how we proceed with the pictures and what are we doing with this. I would like to tell a short story. I met Lintaro 2 years ago on the Carnival in Cologne, I think. Is that right? 2 years ago or what? Last year?
We went there together. You mean in Cologne? Last year it was when the GS3 came out.
Yeah, and you did the editing of the pictures already on the train on the way back.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very, very impressive, because normally everybody is using computer and bring it to the computer, but not you. You do all the processing on the camera, and why we using the train, you set already some pictures online. For me, it was very, very impressive. So you don't need a computer. It's full enough if you have the camera, and you could do all the processing you need. You showed on your example already some ideas. The main idea is that you do all your pictures. I don't know if you spoke already about this. That we should use first of all raw setting in the camera.
Yeah, to get the best quality or the most flexible files are the raw files, because you can push them, make them really bright, or lift the shadows. And with JPEG, you can still do that a little bit, but you have much less room to play with. But yeah, I mean, that was a 5-hour train ride, I think. So it also was part of me being, wanting to see the photos. But that's something you can do, and which is fun to do when you go shoot somewhere and then have a long train ride back home. You can use that time to edit your photos already, and then you can share it.
I think we should go one step back to this. I don't know the name. Onceno was the first guy today with us, and he asking possible with GR3. No, this was already a feature in GR2. You could do this as well in GR2, and it's not only to do the color setup, or you could do the color setup, but as well you could also change the crop of the picture. You could do quadrat. What is the name of quadrat? Is English word for quadrat?
Square?
You can do it by
Square.
Sorry,
format?
yeah, square. Yeah. That are the easiest words. Histogram is an easy word. Square is an easy word. I'm missing. Yes, you could do prepared already to a square. You could adapt it to a 50 millimeter focal length, and all the things you could do already in the post production in the camera. So what I said, you don't need a computer to prepare pictures already for your online channel.
Yeah.
You could. It's very important because you could do this already with GR2, but very new is the very fast transfer from camera to your smartphone.
Yeah, it's much faster
and
now.
It's very fast, and so for sure I have on my smartphone. For sure I have the best photo function ever, I think, but it's not as good as the GR3, and the transfer from camera to smartphone is this fast that I do the post-production to the adaptations, and then transfer to smartphone, and then bring it to my Facebook page or anything like this.
And you can even use
I would like to
Lightroom.
say,
You can even use Lightroom Mobile and transfer your RAW files into your phone, and then use a software like Lightroom if you want to go really deep into editing your RAW files.
Another thing, sorry, there is Semaria. Semaria is asking just that the way the RICOH process the image is very amazing. For sure, we would like to tell later on a little bit about processing with software, with third-part software. But I think I agree with Semaria that it's very amazing, because I'm doing black and white hard contrast preset from my GR, and I never get this on later on with Photoshop. So there is something special with this, and please try all the things. What I said, for different purposes, you need a different setup. To make report photos, it's more black and white. To show the sunny summer party outside, it's not allowed for the time being, but in Germany at least, if you would like to show wonderful summer colors, you could do natural is one option, but you could do as well very colorful pictures, because you are not only able to use the presets which are given by the GR3, you could also adapt all the parameters within this setup. I don't know, have you shown this, Nintaro, that you can also adapt all the setups? Or would you...
If you mean the developer in camera? I think we showed that.
Okay, good. Paolo Diaz says, and spend less time in Photoshop. Yes, I think the big advantage of smartphones is that you get a very good photo, directly out of the camera. And people like to play with apps, but people are very often also lost in these apps and never come to a good photo. They do everything with the photo, but not showing the photo later on. But here you have a clear setup for a photo camera for photo purposes. And what Paulo Diaz wrote, you don't spend time in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Good. So far, that's what I would like to say here. And now, if I'm coming home, maybe you as well, Nintaro, I'm taking out the SD card. I'm able to take it out of the camera. Up from tomorrow, we will do this as well. And I transfer the
photos.
I transfer my photos, my images, to my album on raw, and the raw, in the raw picture, you have the original picture. If I do a preset for black and white, this preset is only for the JPEG file.
Yeah.
So every time, if you say, that is wonderful and nice pictures, and I could use it for any other purposes, no problem. You have the original DNG file, which is usable in the old form, and only the JPEG could be used. So with our last about Photoshop, if Photoshop support the GR3, yes, for sure, Photoshop support as well the DNG from GR3. So you can do all adaptations as well on the DNG file with Lightroom. And I see you open just your Lightroom, and for me, Lightroom is the most important tool because for me it's part of the database. Here I do already my keywords, I do slightly adaptations, and the picture we have seen in the beginning with the beach and the clouds, all the setups are only done here with Lightroom. So then let us show again the Lightroom, Lentaro.
Yeah, it's showing right now. You have a slight delay on your end.
Okay, so, good. Sorry.
No, it's my fault.
So okay, good. And there are already some. First of all, I have to talk about presets. I think it's better you talk a little bit about presets, because you are master of presets. Presets allows me to about.
Yeah, thank you for the segue to the presets. Yeah, of course. So what you can do in Lightroom is once you start editing your photos, you have all these sliders, the parameters here on the right, tone curve. We will go over our workflow a little bit, like how Wolfgang does it and how I does it, just to show you a few editing tools. But you are probably familiar with Lightroom, and on the right side you have all your editing tools. And then once you are done, let's say, let me quickly just do a S-curve here on the tone curve. Please don't judge my editing skills right now. And then change my white balance, make it a little bit bluer. So once I did that, and maybe even a vignette, so it looks terrible now, but that's only for demonstration purposes. Now you can create a preset and save whatever you did just now into a preset, and that will show up on the left side. So whenever you work on another photo and you want the same tools to be applied that you already used on your previous photo, you can do that by creating a preset. And shameless plug here on my side, I created my own presets here because this is something we also talked in the beginning a little bit, but it always comes up as a topic when we talk about GR and Adobe. So of course we all would love to see the camera profiles appearing here. It would be amazing to have positive film coming up here as a Adobe profile, but that is something that not every camera can do. And the thing is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Wolfgang, but the camera company has to pay Adobe to create these profiles, right? And I heard it's very expensive and that not everyone does that. So what you see on brands like Canon or Nikon, they usually have the profiles, but not everyone is able to get these profiles. And that's just what I heard. So because of that, I went out on a long journey to create presets that kind of look like the colors I'm used to on my GR1 and also later my GR3. So what I have here is my own set of presets that are based on the color positive film effect. And I call them positive color, very original. And what they doing is they give me a look that is close to the positive film of the GR1 and GR3. But of course, they're not perfect. It's just not possible because whatever magic RICOH's doing in the camera, it's very hard to replicate. But I'm pretty happy with what I've got because it gets me to a look that is pretty close to what I'm used to on my GR3 or GR1. So if I'm allowed to do that here, a little plug on my website, lintaro.de. I have these presets available. So if you want to check them out, yeah, you can do that. So I feel so dirty right now. Let's continue.
Yeah, no problem. You are in the right corner over there. If you go a little bit above, you can see there are a lot of other ideas, presets from Lightroom. You can see there some black and white.
Yes, there are presets that Lightroom provides.
Yeah, a lot of. What's that? What was it?
Oh, I'm just using the Adobe presets right now to show you.
Okay. And there on the left-hand side, you can see there are a lot of other presets, and this is showing that that Adobe supports the camera. You can play with all of them. There are a lot of presets for black and white as well. There are for so many setups. But finally, you don't. If you couldn't find the right. Please do your. If you go from above to the bottom, you can see first of all there is an automatic function, and with this automatic function, that is I start always with an automatic function because it balances the exposure time and doing already. Very, very important. The camera is used and the thing, I think. I'm using every time I'm using daylight. It's from times where I make photos with, and there I have also only daylight films. And that is the reason I'm using daylight. But with RAW, to shift later on each color temperature, I could play the whole bunch from all the tungsten lights and so on. I could adapt here with this Lightroom, and that is the color. First of all, is the color I'm looking for. Impression. I'm playing with exposure and over. Already, did you automatic just now?
I just pressed the auto button here on the tone, and it gave me this.
And if you see this is a good picture for memories for the photo album, for the family album. But that is not that what I would like to show with the picture. So a little bit more blue,
dramatic.
A little bit more dramatic, and you are able to adjust here colors. You are able to adjust contrast. And if you reset, you can see this is not a big adaptation I did, but only sliders a little bit left, a little bit right to come to this. You can see as well here the histogram. Histogram is very, very important also on this stage. But, and if you scroll adaptations of the photo to get the right angle of the picture.
Under transform here.
Yeah,
that is a very useful tool. I don't think we have the perfect photo right now to demonstrate it, but usually when you have a line that is not very straight, it often helps just pressing the auto or full button here under transform, and it will automatically correct it. But you can also maybe let me when you use guided, for example, you can draw these lines, and then Lightroom will try to make them straight.
To interrupt you just now, because if if Lightroom is using a specific, it's using a special lens profile. If you go only a little bit to the chapter before, you can see
under lens corrections, and then
lens corrections,
enable
and
profile corrections.
And
I'm not sure if I can do that here right now.
Adobe,
but
Adobe is but
it has the GR profile, not the GR3 right now for me on my laptop.
No, it's GR3 profile.
Yeah, but I don't have it at the moment, because I'm using an older version of Lightroom here.
Okay. But if you click this, you get the profile of the lens, and if there are some distortions or anything like this, will be corrected here. So this is it's in the newest version. It's automatic. You only click on here corrections, and everything is automatic. And that is so far, I think, enough of work with a picture. So far, it's okay, but there could be, maybe we talk already about this. Maybe some dust on the sensor or anything like this.
Not that is an issue on the GR.
It is
not
still
as much on the GR3.
Not as much. Yeah, for sure. But
I can see dust spots here on your camera. Was this GR3? Yeah.
Can see?
No, I can see it. I'm trying to find it.
No, I don't know. I think there's no dust on it. But very, very honest, I'm talking about the use in landscape photography, and if I'm using a longer exposure time for waterfalls or anything like this, I have to close the aperture, and as the aperture, the more with
and I just opened Photoshop because the photo I was showing in Lightroom, because if we are talking about removing dust, how would you do it? You would probably go into Photoshop, right?
Then I'm going to Photoshop, yes.
And we don't have any dust spots here, but
for sure not.
Yeah, but I can draw some spots here. Let's say this is white right now; it's not black, but let's put some dust spots on your photo here. So let's say this is dust. You have this repair tool. What's the name? I don't know. It's this symbol here, and then you can just point and click on your dust spots, and then you can remove them. Very simple.
And you can mark, as there is a flag. You can mark as well the flag by a rectangle or anything like this, and then there is a replace by content or anything like this. The newest version of Photoshop is very, very, very keen of this. But now we have the problems, the challenges that already Lightroom needs a little bit more. You have to. It's not this easy. You couldn't start and use. And by the way, we are always talking about Photoshop. There was a message from Capture One this week that Capture One support up from now as well GR3. I think this is a very, very important message. Capture One is I would say Capture One is the software of the professionals. For sure, is Photoshop also the software for professionals. But if you are going the next steps in the agencies and so on, most of them are using as well Capture One. And now Capture One added a profile as well for GR3. Also, they had also the profile. Capture One used also profile for, let me check, for GR2 and GR for all the GR digital cameras are supported by Capture One. And with the newest version of Capture One, also GR3 will be supported.
Yeah, I tested it on Capture One last year, and it did work, but I think the lens correction profile is now updated. But it did work, and I have to say, because the RAW files are DNG on the RICOH cameras, it makes the most sense to use DNG is an Adobe format, so it makes sense to use them on Adobe software. And for my eye, I find the colors and the sharpness looked a little bit better on Lightroom and Photoshop than Capture One. Maybe it's because it's DNG. I don't know. Maybe now with the new profile, maybe it's different. But when I tested it, it was best for me to use Lightroom.
Yeah. There is Alex asking about as well for DxO. DxO, so far I don't know. We will check for the next time. Maybe we can give good news next time. But let us go back to Lightroom and Adobe. We wouldn't make a advertising for Adobe here, but there are a lot of discussions to pay this monthly fee model from Adobe.
It's not that expensive if you only want to use Photoshop and Lightroom. I think it's just 11 euro.
Yeah, I think so. And the very, very important thing is that all new cameras, all new lenses will be adapted, which a newer with a newer version of Photoshop. And in older times, former times, I have to buy every 2 years the new Photoshop version, and I don't know. I think it was 800 or 1.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I pay the fee, but it makes sense. For photographer, it makes sense to have this monthly fee.
And you will always have the latest version.
Newest version, and you have all the profiles for actual lenses, for actual cameras. It makes sense. But back to so far, I'm doing on the Photoshop, I'm doing I have to do. I have borders which are not correct. I make strong and so on. That's what I am doing with Photoshop. But my main tool is the Lightroom, and Lightroom is working with plugins. With plugins is the correct name, I think. And there are some other software manufacturers which are offering plugins for
special
Lightroom.
For specialty tools.
And what I have 2 actual favorites and 1 new favorite. The actual favorite is Silver FX and Color FX. And I think you can tell something about this software.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of SilverFX. It's not a super new plugin. They've been around for a long time, and I'm talking about the free version today. But there is a version that costs, I think, 150 euros. So, but it's only a one-time pay deal. So once you pay it, you have it. But you can get it for free with a few less features. But I want to show you SilverFX here. Before I do that, maybe talk about converting photos into black and white in general, because SilverFX is for a specific purpose, and that is to convert RAW files into black and white, color RAW files. I mean, RAW is usually color unless you are able to afford the Leica monochrome. But most people, the people like us, we need to convert it. And here in Lightroom, you have this simple button on the basic settings here that is called black and white. And once you press that, you will see that down here you have the color channels, and then you can basically channel out colors that are so in general in black and white we don't look at colors, we look at the tonal range, the how do you say it, if you for example research what the zone system is, Ansel Adams was, I think, famous for that. Basically you want to have every spectrum of the black and white tones in an image, so deep blacks, good midtones, and bright highlights. And these color channels definitely help. And I'm showing you this specific photo because when you look at the color version, there is a reason why I converted this to black and white, because first of all, the color sticks out. And what I was interested in was just this mask. And you see how this red jacket and the green is very distracting. And when we go into black and white, first of all, the color distraction is gone, but we can even put the viewer's focus and attention even more to what we want the focus to be. For example, as you remember, the jacket was red. If you play with the red channel here, you can change the brightness of this tone. So if I go down here, you see that the jacket becomes very dark, and suddenly this mask is popping out much more. And the same I can do with the green jacket, and you can see it gets darker, and as a result of that, we pay attention to the bright areas in the frame. So when you convert photos into black and white, this is a very good way to direct the viewer's attention to parts you want them to pay attention. So, okay, now how do you use Silver Efex? So once you install a plugin, you can right-click on a photo, and then under Edit In, you usually have the option for Photoshop if you want to, for example, use the stamp function or to remove dust spots, as we showed earlier. And here I have all these plugins that are coming from the Nik collection. So the Nik collection has the Silver Efex Pro feature in it. It's a collection of a few different plugins. And I think I prepared Silver Efex here. Yeah, so this is the plugin. It opens up like that. You can create a TIFF file if you want. You can create a copy or just edit the original. So once you are in Silver Efex, it looks very similar to Lightroom. On the left side, you have your custom presets. So when you finish editing, you can save it as a preset. And just going to quickly show you what you can do. You have very advanced brightness and contrast and structure sliders, a little bit more advanced than in Lightroom. For example, you can change the brightness in the midtones only, or the shadows. So that gives you more flexibility. And what's really, I think, attractive for using Silver Efex is the film types, the film emulations. And what you have here are all the classic analog film, black and white film stocks. Yeah. So Tri-X, HP5. We have also Acros here. For example, if you are a big Fuji Acros fan and you're using a Fuji camera, but you want the same look on maybe your GR, it is possible to get a similar look. So yeah, let's just use Acros, for example. And then you can start also working on the tone curve here. If you want to do that, adjust brightness and stuff like that. But I'm only going to show you what I think are the most powerful tools here. So, and that is when you use the film emulations, you also get a very good grain. When you use grain on Lightroom, which I can quickly show you here. So if I convert this to black and white, and I think this will become pretty obvious to you. So we have the grain feature on Lightroom down here under Effects. And if I just raise the amount of grain, you start to see grain appearing here. You can say change the size and the roughness. But what Lightroom is doing is it applies like a layer of grain that is even throughout the frame. But when you use Silver Efex and zoom in, I think I have to zoom in to 200 here for you to see it. what's happening is that, first of all, the grain looks much more realistic. I think it looks much better than in Lightroom. Let me go back to 100. And I don't know exactly the technical explanation for it, but it does not apply the grain evenly throughout the frame. So it works differently on highlights, it works differently on shadows. So it is very intelligent in that way, and you will see that this is something that is very powerful in Silver Efex. For example, we have these selective adjustments, so these control points, and that is what I often use is for faces, for example. I have a radius here I can choose, and you can do that in Lightroom, but in Lightroom you paint in the area you want to change, and then it will affect everything that's in this area. But here in Silver Efex, even if I change the radius to a very wide radius here, it goes beyond the face. But if I use the structure slider here now, you will see it affects everything in that area that is similar to the skin color or the skin tones. So it doesn't affect, for example, the smartphone she is holding here. It only affects the skin. And if I go to my control points here on the right, you can check this box, and now you can see what exactly is affecting, what you are affecting by using this control point. And as you can see, it does select things that make sense. And that is something that unfortunately is not available on Lightroom. I mean, not in this way. So whenever you want to brighten up people in the frame, or you want to increase the structure, make them pop out a little bit more, this is super powerful stuff here in Silver Efex. And that is basically it.
Now you are lost in Silver Efex. I have very, very often the discussion with you what we would like to prefer. You prefer from time to time as well to shoot photos with on film, and very, very honest, I never used film since so many years, and I see no reason to use this because the maybe it's also part of the sensor that the sensor already to make an adaptation with the pictures. For me, it's very, very similar to film. I think you talk about grain, and so I'm used the tricks from Kodak. That was the film I always used, and this and FP4 from Ilford. That was my favorite. Yeah, and
it's all here.
I think I'm able to create very, very film similar simulation on my digital photo with here. I'm absolutely sure. So I don't need analog photo. We were talking about Silver Efex. Silver Efex is for me a part of, I think I got explanation a long time ago, and they explain, if I repeat it if I repeat it correctly, but they work on directly on and work with this. I don't know. With photographers, Lintaro, or in the I heard it.
Yeah.
Software. I heard first time Street Photographers Festival, and that was first time I heard about. And as far as I know, you tried this software already. Is it right? Is it correct?
Yes, I tried it, and we can also show it. Okay, do you want to switch over to Luminar? We can show how
Uh, uh,
Luminar works.
if you would like to do any comment with here on this stage.
No, I think I'm done here on Lightroom, just to be sure that my computer
Is
can
it?
handle it.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, is Luminar also available as a plugin? Could I use as well Lightroom for this?
I think so. Yeah, I'm sure it does work. Oh,
As
as
far
you
as
can, you can see here, Luminar 4, it's showing up.
okay.
I never
Because
saw that. Yeah.
because for me it's very important. For me it's also offering the other tool. It's Bridge, important tool for a lot of photographers. I never use because it's the I could do it with here with Lightroom. It's
it's of course when you use plugins you have one more step that you have to go through. I'm just trying to open it here on Luminar. It takes a while, but I think it's opening now.
You closed all your windows and all your software to have a better computer.
Yeah, I didn't do that this time, but I think we are fine because I'm not using two monitors.
So Victor is asking or is saying that the sound from me is from time to time low, but I hope it's better now. I go a little bit closer to the microphone, and I hope my sound is good again.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, just make sure to be close to the microphone.
Yes.
Okay. So we are now in Luminar, and so did you ever use Luminar before, Wolfgang? Or?
No, I never used it.
Then I think I will close this because, or let's keep working on this real quick to show some basics, and then I think there's a photo. The photo we showed in the beginning is that you took is a good example for a unique feature here. So as far as I understand, in Luminar you have 4 different tabs where you can work, and one is light or essentials. And I'm not the expert in Luminar yet. I just tried it for 1 or 2 hours. But when you go here under light, you have white balance, exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, and these are basic settings. And then you have advanced settings, so you get more. And this is all stuff that you also see in Lightroom. So it's nothing really new, but it's just in a different package. But what's unique to Luminar is that they use AI technology for your photographs, which is very interesting. And I think that we will get to it later. For example, we have AI structure here. I'm not sure what that will do. But so why would you use AI technology? And
what is AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Sorry.
So there is there is some evil cyborg in the background working on your photos and doing stuff intelligently and taking over the world someday. No, but the thing is, traditional software just applies everything on what you do on everything on the frame evenly. So like I was saying in Efex, it's Efex doesn't use AI, but it has algorithms that are intelligently designed by humans. But I think Luminar uses some superhuman technology. As you can see, I don't really know how to explain it better. But I think we should show it on a different photo. So let me reopen Luminar so you can also see how it looks like. Oh, now I opened the installer. Nope. I was too fast. So Luminar 4. Yeah. I hope it's starting now. Yeah. Okay, so here's Luminar booting up.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see here, it won some awards for...
Yeah, I have to check on my bigger screen. On the small screen, I don't...
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is how Luminar looks like when you open
see
it
this,
up.
but on
And you can import photos by using the plus button here on the top left. And you can... That's what I like about Luminar compared to Lightroom. On Lightroom, you have to find the folder inside Lightroom and then select the photos, right? And in Luminar, you can select single images, similar to Lightroom, or you can import a whole folder.
this. Select this.
What do you mean?
Take this for the next steps with Luminar.
Yeah, okay. But I already imported a folder here. So, but I can do it again. So for example, I imported this folder here, photos to edit. This is for the stream. And I have, for example, Wolfgang's photos here, and I can import them. And then it will show all the photos in his folder, or the folder I created. And under library on the right side, you see now all the folders I imported. So I can go back to the photos to edit folder that I imported before starting the stream, or the folder I just imported. So it is, I think, very, what is übersichtlich in English? It's
very, very good visible, or
yeah, it's a good structure. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand. And let's take, for example, I wanted to use this photo because there is a sky replacement feature which we're going to get to. But before that, you can already see here that there are, it's called Luminar Looks, which I assume are presets or profiles. And I have to say, like, me personally, I find them a little bit gimmicky. They look a little bit too... yeah, I mean, I can just show you a few here. For example, they have these preset packs or these look collections, and one of them is street. So they have this one called Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is a historical street in New York where lots of photographers were taking photos in the 60s and 70s. So this is a very, it's trying to mimic the look of, analog film on that time. You have, for example, Central Park, downtown, and they look. I find them a little bit too colorful, and but you have this amount slider, so you can also just use a little bit of this effect if you want. And then you have a collection for landscape as well, for portrait. So I think after using it for 1 hour or two, my verdict was, or my conclusion, that it's when you only use the basic features, it has everything you need. And all these looks, I think, are just extras, like nice to have, but I don't think you really need them. But if it's similar like Instagram filters. To me, they look like Instagram filters.
Okay.
But you can save your own looks. So let's go to the cool stuff. Let's go to the AI stuff. So yeah, we have the essentials here. Then you have creative, this creative tab here. And here on the top, we have AI sky replacement. And now it gets fancy. So you can select, change the sky. Like here, Wolfgang shot a blue sky. But you can say, give me a dramatic sky. And then you have some options here. And you can see, after it's finished, because Luminar is AI, using AI technology, it can somehow find the sky in your photo and replace it very seamlessly. So for example, now you see some clouds and it doesn't look too photoshopped. I mean, you still have adjustment sliders, you can correct it. Let's use, for example, a sunset. I don't know if that works here, but you have harsh light, so maybe it does. So let's wait.
They said here in the chat, they said we don't need any other software because your presets are the best for sky, so we don't need this. Oh, nice! Yeah.
So yeah, it is fun. I mean, it does.
Okay.
I think it's kind of cheating if you. I mean, let's say you're a landscape photographer and you spend. You wake up in 3 in the morning to get the early sunrise at 5 a.m. somewhere on the mountains. And then some guys take the same photos a different time of the day, and then he or she could just replace the sky. But it is very. If I zoom in here, you will see it is very. It does look very good. I mean, you don't really see that it is photoshopped.
Yeah. So with the basis of Lightroom, Lightroom could be the basis, and then we have some other options. We have the more, I don't know, more photographer-like options with Silver FX, and this is nice to have, and for sure. It's
Can I show one more thing? Because because it's fun to play with, but see, you can get a sun, and that this is really crazy, because this is how you can see that there's some AI going on. So I need to change this.
Be careful with the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be realistic, but I want a sky with more clouds. Maybe another dramatic sky, because the sun, it will work with the clouds. It's really fascinating how they do this.
Okay, that is.
So I have a sun now.
Counterworking,
And I can change the amount of the sun, and it will look a little bit fake right now. But how do I do this? If I move this around, it will go under the clouds as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm trying to find a good spot. This is not the best sky probably to do this, but I did do this on a photo I took, and it did work very well. So
okay, good.
It does. Yeah, I can't get it to look like I had it. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to show you.
But okay, now I can imagine. Yes, yeah. Okay. So far, I think that is only to show what could be with other software. There is a lot of software available, much everybody can use to do his adaptations after shooting. But as we started, and now I will come back to the start. Best things you could do already in the camera with some presets. The camera has some presets, for black and white, for hard contrast black and white, for colorful, for so many presets. So you can do already a lot of things with the camera before. And I don't know, one Sono says that the best is you're doing, you don't really lost time with Photoshop. So it's the best you are doing this with presets already with the camera. Yeah. I see in my backlight, I see that the sun is going, and
you need some Luminar action in your background.
We start very bright, and now it's already dark. So far, I think we talked a little bit about processing. Maybe it was interesting for some of you guys outside. For sure, Samuel and I will have another chat with new subjects to discuss. Let us know what you would like to be informed about. Let us know if you have special themes you would like to know more, and give us some comments. And please come back to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we want to do these streams more often. So, I mean, Wolfgang and I are thinking about ideas. So if you have any ideas for future live streams, topics,
yes,
let us know now in the chat or later in the comments.
Yeah. There are finally 3 good questions. How many presets does the GR have? As far as I'm talking with you, Lintaro is just checking. I think 6 or 7 presets we have. and all the presets we have could be, please count, vivid, black and white, soft black and white, hard black and white.
Sorry, I have to count again. It's hard.
Yeah,
So
okay.
4,
Sorry.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. Yeah,
11, and then you have two custom.
Yeah, but you can also customize the other presets. So it's more or less endless what you can do with this.
Yeah, you can set, you can create your own preset or filter by going to these custom function. Yeah,
and especially for me, it was my favorite is hard black and white, and for me it was one tick too hard, and please go to custom setting on this. Can go a little bit on contrast. There is +4, and I go a little bit step back and customize it for my purposes. So yes, you can do this as well. You can customize also the presettings, and with this you can customize as well other presets. So
Victor is asking why we need this RICOH camera. Take an image with smartphone, add some birds, sun, the beams. Oh, he's talking about Luminar probably.
Finally, we don't need a camera because every picture is already made, and so we don't. If you open all these picture platforms, you don't need your own pictures. But I'm every time impressed pictures Lintaro made. I have seen the same situation as you was on the demonstration 1 week ago. Lintaro, there are some pictures. They are very obviously everybody could see them, but you give them a special touch, and that makes the difference. The individual setup and the individual point of view that makes it different. And now I have to advertise as well our GR. That is a tool to express yourself. so far, okay, good, Victor. Thank you very much. Good so far. Do you have any comment, Lintaro,
I'm looking through the chat if there's any questions we didn't get to. Doesn't look like it. There is any. The presets in the GS3 are fun to use. Customizing positive neck and black and white is it's hard to meet. Is the brilliance of the camera. I spend more time processing photos from other cameras, but prefer using tweaked presets on GR.
Yes, Victor, that is a nice comment from your side. But as far as people have opportunity to earn money with their photos, they will prepare pictures for databases. They are happy to get 5 cents, 6 cents, 10 cents for each photo, and they are happy with this and filling all the databases. But I'm absolutely sure everybody of us are doing very, very individual pictures, and that is the need as well for databases to prepare every time new pictures, every day. I'm going outside making the same pictures, making the same photos from the same point, the same view, but it's different because of the sun, of the light, and so I never will stop making photos.
Yeah.
Good.
Maybe we can give the viewers a little task or homework, or we ask you to maybe comment if you use a different software than we showed you, and maybe you can give us feedback if you work with the GR on a different software. Maybe we can also learn about new softwares then, because there are a few free options. I can't think about any right now, but I know there's GIMP. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, GIMP. Yes, GIMP is the name I missed. Yes, GIMP is a free of charge software. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you can share with us in the comments later if you know any other software and if the GR works with any free software.
There is also finally some questions about the new GR camera. Well, I will say soon.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Soon is right. Can't go wrong.
To answer with my colleagues from Japan, we are considering, we are preparing, we are doing things, and very, very soon you can get a new GR. Okay.
Good. I think we are done then. We hope this was useful to you or insightful. Sorry again for the little issues we had in the beginning. This is live, yes, and this sometimes happens.
Everybody forget it already.
Yeah, exactly. Just forget it. Okay. Yeah, make sure to leave a comment, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already for future streams. And I know there are some cool videos coming out. So if you don't want to miss them, click the bell icon and all that stuff. I think there's all the links you need in the description. We have a Discord server for all the GR users. You can connect with other GR users. That's, I think, all important things we have to say. Anything from you, Wolfgang?
For today, no. I think
just get it right
finally we go out by camera. Yes, for sure. Yeah. After our problems in the beginning, everything went well, and so now, what I said, the light is going already with my room here, and yes, say good night and see you soon.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.